I found the real Yamasee descendants.
What's good, everyone? After doing significant research, I actually found the real Yamasee. Yes, the real, true Yamasee. Right. Native American refugees, Yuchi and Yamasee. Now, from my research, right, this name, Billy Amathla, aka Chipko, has Yamasee ancestry, right? Also, Chief Billy Powell, aka Osceola, has Yamasee ancestry. And lastly, Billy Bowlegs the First has Yamasee ancestry. Now, there were only 75 Yamasee. Many were unfortunately unalived during the Seminole Wars, but these three chiefs, even though they were unalived, they had children. They had children. They had descendants, right? And I'm going to show you their descendants right here.
A few moments later.
Now, this individual here in this 1920 census is known as Willie Lily Bowlegs Chipko. That's his real name. Seminole, Oklahoma. Now, he is a descendant of Chipko, right? The last Yamasee chief. He is a descendant. So, we know, as you can see here, father's birthplace, Florida, mother's birthplace, Florida, native tongue, Seminole. He is a descendant of this man right here. Hold on. Right here. Chipko, also known as Echo Imatla. 19th century Seminole Indian chief and warrior. All right. The Chipko is a very important name, right? Because it belongs to the family of Imathla. Imathla, right? Imathla. Now, let's go back and check out the history of Imathla. Okay. Native American refugees from northern wars, such as the Yuchi and Yamasee, after the Yamasee War in South Carolina, migrated into Spanish Florida. All right, so Yamasee not in South Carolina anymore. They're gone. Only 75. All 75 left. So anybody in South Carolina claiming that they're Yamasee is a fraud. That's a scam because they all left. Only 75 migrated into Spanish Florida in the early 18th century. The Yuchi did not speak a Muskogean language. The Miccosukee language is Muskogean, but shared the culture of the Muskogee people called Creeks by the English. They had belonged to the Muskogee Creek Confederation before moving to Florida. So this is the key. Florida. Florida is the key to find the Yamasee. More arrived in the second half of the 18th century as the Lower Creeks, part of the Muskogee people such as Chief Billy Imathla. 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 So, here is the chief, right? Billy Imathla. Chipko. Yamasee, right? He was the Yamasee, part of the Yamasee that assimilated in the Muskogee, and he was still a chief. He was chief within the Muskogee. So, we have a name, and we have an individual, right? He fled from several of their towns into Florida to evade the dominance of the Upper Creeks and pressure from encroaching colonists from the province of Carolina. Because that's how the Maroons came down into Georgia and Spanish Florida. They escaped slavery as more British began to move south into the Spanish and Portuguese territories, right? Because we know that the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida, all that was Spanish and Portuguese, right? Until the British came in from Virginia and began the downward migration of taking over territory, right? And establishing them as British colonies, right? All right, in 1818, Chief Billy Amathla was identified as the chief of a Yochi town of about 75 people associated with the Miccosukee villages east of Tallahassee, right? So we know Chipko, right? So,
A few moments later.
remember in a post about this chief, Seminole chief here named Deerfoot, 51 years old, Oklahoma Territory, Seminole, and here Chipko, right here. He is a descendant of Chipko, and they still have the last name, right here. Now, as I said before, the importance of Deerfoot Chipko, or Emilio Chipko, right, descendant of Billy, right, Chipko, Yamasee, right, Sally Chipko. She married Black Seminole, or a freedman, or descendant of a freedman, and had descendants. Those descendants are the Afro-Indigenous living in Florida. The Afro-Indigenous who have their own reservation in Florida. Now, this is why we know anyone claiming Yamasee other than these people are a scam, because we know the lineage of the Yamasee. We know them. They have been living in Indian territory the whole time, and many in Florida the whole time. So anyone claiming Yamasee, and you don't descend from any of these people like Deerfoot, Chupko, Osceola, or Billy Bowlegs, you are not Yamasee. You're a scam and a pretending. The grift is over.